like the content we bring you about the heavy metal world, please like, subscribe, and comment to help us grow the channel.
This is Matt with Metal Express Radio. I have with me Danny from Wicked. How are you today, man?
What's happening, man? I'm doing good. Excited to talk today. How you doing?
I'm good as well. Excited as well. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. So your band Wicked just recently released a single entitled Hellraiser. Does this single give fans an idea going forward of what to expect from your next full album?
I think it's a little hint at some of the new evolution of the band. We're always big on, having a pretty broad and diverse influence that we bring into our musical writing. And with an upcoming album in 2025, Hellraiser does kind of hint at a little bit of the heavier side that's going to be mixed in, but you could always expect some really good time party music, power pop influences in there as well.
And do you feel like you chose Hellraiser in particular as your first single to kind of give fans an idea of the diversity of the album?
Yeah, that's for sure. I think it was also timely because we dropped it on Halloween this year, and Halloween's kind of a special time of the year for the band. No pun intended with the word Wicked, but we're got a lot of friends out in Salem, and we always do an annual event out there. This year, we gave the fans on a broader aspect around the world something to celebrate, and that was Hellraiser. So it was pretty exciting, and I think that if you really dig into it, and you'll hear there's a lot of the typical Wicked trappings. We're big on our Thin Lizzy influence, and there's fifth harmonies in there with the dual guitar parts and stuff. So we're always trying to stay tried and true to some of our core rock and roll go-to values for sure.
Some do say your third full-length album, you kind of just have that step to this could possibly be your best record after working through your first two. Do you see that possibly with the upcoming album?
Yeah, I mean, of course, like anybody, that's what you're striving for and hoping for. I do think that, every time we set out and write a new batch of music, it just gets better. I think, the more you allow yourself to be authentic and experiment and feel comfortable with what you're doing, you're just going to get such a great product. And we're really proud of what we got coming out this upcoming year. We went into the studio with our engineer and producer, Nacho Molino, again. But this time we really tried some new things and, used a new studio, used some new analog gear, and some different approaches to how we recorded it. We had a lot of fun with songwriting too, and I think the fans would be excited to see what we're bringing. I'll tell you this, some of my favorite Wicked music for sure coming up.
You have a couple upcoming shows coming up, one being on Friday, December 13th in Rochester, New York, and then starting the new year, you'll be playing out west in California with the Metal Legions. What are your expectations on your upcoming shows?
I'll tell you what, we're wrapping up the year locally, hometown gig at Lux in Rochester, New York, and that's going to be fun because normally when, people think of a Wicked live show, you're thinking a big stage and, that arena kind of energy, but we're going to bring that same kind of energy, but to a very intimate show at Lux, a place that we like to call home, but it really is like a very much of a dive bar kind of atmosphere. So if you think about a young crowd, wall to wall, in there, and we're going to be playing 2 hours, so the fans can expect, all of their favorites that are currently out now on Last American Rock Band or the Sunburn album, Hellraiser, but there's also going to be some teasings of some of the new songs, and maybe things that we're writing now. So I always like to kind of do that at a live show. It gives people like that unanticipated and feeling of like, what are we going to hear this next live show from Wicked? So be sure to check that out. In terms of the House of Blues in Anaheim, California, that's going to be crazy. We're super honored, just the talent level alone that we're going to be playing with on that stage, let alone being an industry show. We're bringing our A game, and that high energy rock and roll is something you're not going to want to miss. A live Wicked show is just uncomparable.
And you had mentioned the new album will drop in 2025. Do you see yourself in the band extensively touring?
That's the plan right now. We're in the market right now, looking for the right tour, and maybe the summertime, and we'll be coupling that campaign together, touring, new album, some singles, videos. We're super excited about it, and keep your eye out for those dates to be popping up.
Is there anyone that you hope to tour with that you haven't yet?
Oh man, the list is long. I always say it's like just roll the dice. There's so many great bands out there, but if I had to pick, it'd probably be something like I'd love to go out with one of our contemporaries. I don't know if you've heard of Tuck Smith and the Restless Hearts, formerly of the Biters, but he's just got an incredible hard rock band, and those guys just got out of Europe and Japan. That would be one day something I'd love to see, is like more of a contemporary bands getting out there together. But we'll see. Who knows what's going to happen?
Now, having such a unique sound and image, has there ever been an audience you had to work on winning over?
Yeah. Actually, this past year's North American tour with Raven was an amazing tour. Started in New Orleans, went clockwise around the country into Canada and down into Mexico City, and there were just some incredible shows, Mexico City being one of my favorites, where it was like Beatlemania. Like, everybody was just going insane, and you almost wouldn't have expected them to even know about Wicked, but they had bootleg posters and all this stuff. But there were shows, I'll tell you, where there was just a crowd that just was like, dare to entertain me kind of attitude in it. Arms crossed, like, who are these blonde guys, And we got up there and just did our thing, and we were our authentic selves, and I think that's what won them over. And at the end of the day, they were just like singing along, buying merch, and there's no better victory than turning a crowd like that, for sure.
And how is it to be a band that can just fit in on so many different bills, like going out and tour with Raven, but then kind of catering a different crowd as well?
It's sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking, getting into it, because you're, in your heart of hearts, if you just be yourself, things will most likely end up working out. But, there's a lot of pressure and anticipation put on, by booking agents and promoters and this and that and the other thing. So it could be nerve-wracking, but it's exciting for me. I always like the challenge, and I love the idea of building off of what I typically see at a Wicked show, because I'll look out from the stage, and my favorite thing to see is just this diverse crowd or walks of life, right? You could have a guy in a business suit next to a goth, a punk rocker, a metalhead, and it just that community that's so diverse that comes together around an escape from their daily lives to listen to some good time rock and roll, and so translatable, right? Like, it's that broad, right down the middle rock and roll. So I think that it's a good challenge for me, because I'd love to spread and build that community around the world.
Is there anything that we haven't covered that you would like to throw in?
Yeah, hey, listen, between now and the end of the year, keep your eyes out. Maybe Friday the 13th, another single will drop. So that's a little teaser right now. Keep your eyes on the band webpage, wickedrockandrollofficial.com. We're going to have a lot of exciting stuff coming, and like I said, more dates and new music coming up.
My last question I have for you, between 2 full-length albums, your new one coming up, and a handful of EPs that your band has released, what would you suggest for a new fan to start out with, and why?
That's a good question. I always say, like, when I approach a catalog, I just work my way right through it. I think I like to see the evolution and get like the big picture. So I'd say, hey, maybe go right to the first album, Last American Rock Band, and check it out. Some classic tunes like American Rock and Roller, High Roller, and then work your way through. But if you're really looking for like the latest and greatest and like maybe the new direction, check out songs like Sunburn or Gorgeous. They've got a little bit more of that alternative feel that we're blending in, and super excited about.
Awesome. That's about all the questions I got for you. Again, appreciate your time. Myself, the whole crew at Metal Express Radio, we wish you the best on your upcoming album release and your upcoming tour.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
If you like the content we bring you about the heavy metal world, please like, subscribe, and comment to help us grow the channel.